Welcome back, beautiful people of the podcasting universe and world. My name is Frankie Rodriguez, and this is the Three Amigos Podcast. And it's just going to be me tonight. Emergency podcast, first reaction podcast. This is going to be an exclusive podcast. Basically, it's just going to be me. As you could tell, as I just said, it's 1 out of 3 tonight. I don't know when this will be up, but hopefully tomorrow, tonight, today, whatever. Our producers will be working hard and diligently to get this up and running and out there quickly to all the audience and whoever is out there listening. And if you are listening, thank you so much. But basically, tonight, I will be talking about my first impressions, my first reactions of Thor Love and Thunder. It came out tonight, Thursday, here in New York City. Went with a friend, not named Christopher Langsdorff, not the film Cubano, the fit Cubano. I did not go with him. No, I did not. Unfortunately, he wanted to pass out on this one, and I am very disappointed that he did not want to see this one. Christopher, if you're listening, I do, and forever will be hurt, and I will hurt you back. Just kidding, man. I understand Marvel can be hit or miss nowadays, honestly. Technically, you could argue it was never elite. It was just fun. Things got better at some point. You could argue it only got better maybe once they found their footing and started using the Russos, but that's for another topic for a different time. But basically, it was just me. I did see the movie tonight. And my first impressions, without any spoilers, this is spoiler free. I'm gonna touch spoiler territory once Ant sees it. We'll put out a video for that, and Chris will join us, and he doesn't care about this movie at all, so he'll be. All three of us will probably talk about it. But basically, my first impressions are: go see this movie. I think it is a pass. It's not a pass. It's a go see. You can definitely go see this movie. There's nothing relatively wrong with this movie, obviously, and there is no perfect movie. Whether critics want to give Paddington 100, and I do love Paddington 2, it is a very perfect movie, near close perfect movie, but it's not, it's not, there's nothing gonna top Paddington 2 or Citizen Kane. I think that has like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't even know. I'm just saying titles and classics, and I think Paddington 2 will be a classic if you ask me. But Thor 2 is not, Thor 2. I say Thor 2 because it basically is Thor 2. The first Thor 2 movies are just basically forgettable. The only reason Thor 1 needs to exist is because it needs to introduce Thor, Chris Hemsworth's Thor, into the Marvel Universe, the MCU. And Thor Love and Thunder adds to Taika Waititi. I really hope I said his name right. I love his name, but I just want to do it justice. Taika Waititi. Taika is its second iteration of his version of Thor. He definitely brought this character back from obscurity with Thor Ragnarok, which was when no one was expecting it to be as trippy and as comedic as it was, obviously, and it comes back. The whole comedy part, it comes back. If you knew that it was Taika again directing, you knew the comedy was going to come back, at least some aspect of it, and it was there. A lot of the comedy was back. A lot of your fan favorites from what made Thor Ragnarok shine is back in this movie. If you haven't seen Thor Ragnarok, spoiler: Loki, was there, and that basically Thor Ragnarok leads into the last two Avenger movies, but I'm not going to touch more about that. But basically, most of the characters that you know and love from that film are in this one. That might be a spoiler for some, that might be not, I don't know. You take it with a pinch of salt. I'm just a guy here on the internet just voicing my personal pleasure and love for the MCU. And yeah, I guess you can call me an MCU fanboy, whatever, I don't care. I do like superhero stuff. It's incredible to be living in a time like this with superheroes are just like throwing left and right. Is this a good movie? I think it is. And that's what I'm just gonna go straight to the point now. It is a good movie. Go watch it. Some key things about this movie is go in with low expectations, which is something I do. You don't have to follow that at all. I think everyone should go in whatever expectations they want, unless you're that real real good guy who think everything's gonna be good. Everything's gonna be real good. MCU don't make mistakes. Kevin Feige is God. He doesn't make any mistakes. But that's what I try to do now, is go in with low expectations. Maybe I had higher expectations because I did enjoy Taika's take in Thor Ragnarok. He did a good job. It was going to always be always very hard to top what he did and create. So it's going to be hard to top that. I mean, he topped everything else because there wasn't a large threshold to pass with the first two Thor movies. So he does his best. It's not his best in a way, but it delivers. It delivers the laughs. It delivers even some tear-jerking moments, I think. So if you're in for Thor, if you're in for Chris Hemsworth, you're gonna get a lot of him. You're gonna get whatever you saw in the trailer is what you're gonna get. There's no sugarcoating. He is gonna give you what was in that trailer, and let's face it, trailers just suck nowadays. They just reveal everything. Kind of like, you can argue they've always been like that, but not necessarily. At least this time, in this day and age, they reverted back to some ways of just wanting to get people to buy tickets to go to the theater and watch this. People were going to watch this regardless. People are going to watch MCU movies. They could release little to nothing and people will go see this movie. Any MCU movie. But, with Taika, he does carry the fact that, and has the medal and that distinguished, honor of making the best Thor movie. And yes, no one was expecting the Thor to have 4 damn movies, but here we are. And it's good. He's 2 for 2 in my opinion. And just some quick highlights that I don't want to get into it because I do want to talk it over with the boys. But Christian Bale, amazing. That's all I'm going to say. A lot of the acting was great. The comedy is there, but in a way, that's what's going to be kind of my criticism, which is a little bit unfair because I did enjoy Thor Ragnarok for its comedy too, but I just wish Thor got a very serious, I just wish he had a serious iteration, but I'm not going to be too nitpicky in that. I'm not really holding that against it. In fact, what I hold against it more is the pacing. I thought that was a little bit of a downer for me. The story was good. It was fine. And MCU continues to be the MCU and do things that they should learn from, I guess. But it's stupid to say that line in itself is kind of redundant because they've been doing this since day one. And what are you gonna do? If it ain't broke, they ain't gonna fix it, and they know that. So they're not gonna fix what they've created. So because to them it's not broke, but to us as the consumer, and to some of us, not all of us obviously, we think that the Marvel formula is broke. It's been broke. It's kind of like, it's just repetition. It's like when in wrestling John Cena wins, LOL. Literally, that's an insider in the wrestling community, even the pop culture community potentially, where John Cena would always win his matches. Like he won a 7-on-1 match. Like, that's stupid. Super Cena. It's dumb. It makes sense. Doesn't make any sense. The formula for him was that he always had to win pretty much. He don't get pinned. MCU, they don't make mistakes in their eyes, and they can't break away from that formula, which they have at times, but they always have to stick right back to it. And that's something Chris is very, very adamant about, and he is right, I think. Not to some extent. But again, it's hard not for them to sprinkle that. As I make the motion of sprinkling, they do sprinkle their formula back in all the time, even with a director's attempt to make their own, their own vision come to light. They try their best. MCU tends to do, Kevin Feige tends to keep his hands out of things, it seems, and let directors and the producers and the actors, let them be themselves as best as they can. But at the end of the day, they do kind of maybe have to poke the bear or poke them with a stick. It's like, hey, poke them in the back. Hey, don't forget the formula. But yeah, that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to get too much into it. It's just going to be this. Go see the Thor Love and Thunder. Let us know what you think. And look out for the spoiler review and talk conversation with the boys coming probably this week, probably after the week. We'll try not to post anything on the weekend because reasons. But that's it pretty much for me, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Frankie Rodriguez. This is the Three Amigos Podcast. We're 1 for 3 tonight, but that's okay. We'll be back 2 for 3, maybe 3 for 3, relatively soon. But thank you so much for listening. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.